Do our own theme music.
Lemon face. Lion face. Lemon face. Lion face. Lemon face. Lion face. And it gets your face like warmed up.
Super serious.
Where nothing fun or funny ever happens. This is a super serious thing.
I don't even like dogs.
Super serious.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Super Serious Dog Podcast, hosted by Courtney Cuellar and myself, Misha Bielitsky. Welcome.
Welcome.
What are we talking about today, Courtney?
Well, I wanted to talk about the kind of like a counter episode to our like pitfalls of social media, because like it's not all bad.
Right.
I've found some really good information on social media and some really cool people that I've met in real life and are cool people in real life too. So there can be a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely agree as somebody who is on the social meds, as they say.
So you do a lot more in the Facebook land, where I know there's a lot of groups and stuff that are centered around trying to help people and connecting people and just to build that general community feeling. Do you feel like that works? Do you feel like that does actually happen in those groups?
For sure. There's always a chance for things to get fractured, but I think it's up to the moderators and sort of like what the ideology of the Facebook group is, right? And if somebody creates a Facebook group that's just like, here's my group about dogs, hope you like it, you know, there's going to be a lot more room for error and not room for error, but just like room for people to kind of go off on tangents, and it's not really clear what the point of it is and that sort of thing. But like, for example, I've mentioned the reactive and aggressive dog support group, right? That's a very clear, it's got a really clear specific thing. It is a support group that's supposed to be non-judgmental for people to be able to vent their frustrations, ask for help, ask for advice, and just basically have a support network for people who can understand what they're going through. And it is moderated. If people start getting super argumentative, somebody steps in and says like, hey guys, like this isn't the place for that. Like, let's relax, let's take a seat back, or they'll, turn off commenting for a little while or whatever until everybody cools down. So I definitely think there's plenty of ways to do it right, instead of it just being
keyboard warriors.
Yes.
Yeah. And
keyboard warriors
yelling at each other over stuff that you don't need to yell at each other about.
Yeah, exactly. And there's definitely a lot of things that kind of scare me sometimes, like dog training 101, but it's like people who are in the they only know 101 stuff category that's giving the advice. They're not somebody who's more advanced breaking it down. But like, even then, most of the time, like it's just somebody sharing what worked for their dog. And a lot of times, more often than not, at least the ones that I'm in, I've seen screenshots from some pretty terrible advice from like other groups and stuff like that. But like, honestly, I think there's a lot of good that can come of it.
I know there's like fitness, like dog fitness groups, raw feeding community groups, breed specific groups. Those probably get a little vague sometimes, but the fitness.
Honestly, those are mostly just like pictures of
right,
and,
cute dogs
and people looking for breeders and stuff, but not like anything.
I actually got one of my dogs off Facebook.
Oh, really? Which one?
Ruka.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I knew you got her online or something, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I was in a Facebook group that was like, I don't remember the exact name of it, but the point of the group was for people to post adoptable dogs they come across that have sport dog potential. And that's where someone posted a video of her jumping for water like 20 times in a row, like 6 feet in the air, and said she was going to be put down at the end of the week. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Who's that dog?
Yeah.
And then I found out her story and everything. And
yeah, that's cool.
I through Facebook, through the people that I knew in different states, because she was in Boston.
Yeah.
and I happened to know someone in Boston because of the company that I worked for. So I
Yeah.
reached out to that person who I'd only met one time in real life and was like, hi, so there's this dog and I need you to go get it if you possibly could. Like, I'll give you money. Please just go get this dog and then also
Please
take
help.
it to the airport. And I don't know what the dog's like. I hope it doesn't bite you. It was going to get put down for biting. And she was a really nice lady, and she did it, and she helped me out a lot, and
Awesome.
then I got Ruka.
Yeah. I've, whenever I was part of the APA, I still am part of the APA adopters group or whatever. I just don't look at it very much. But back when I was working there, it was my way of like, you know, silently lurking and like seeing all the dogs that I knew that got adopted or the kitties that I knew that got adopted. And it was really cool because I would also sometimes see like maternity puppies go out, get adopted. And then like people would do like meetups for like, hey, did anybody get the like, you know, Game of Thrones litter of puppies or whatever? Because usually the puppies are like themed, like Christmas foods or Thanksgiving foods or, you know, colors or whatever. So that was always really fun and like, you know, lighthearted and adorable as hell. They even
I
made
bet.
like someone would have like spin-off groups and they'd like regularly meet up and stuff. And yeah, it was pretty neat.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Speaking of like adoption stuff, I know that there is a website, it's for local people, and it's through APA, and I think it's called like the PASS program or something like that. And you have to like get accepted. You have to answer the questions, and it's for people who are trying to rehome their dogs, but are trying to find someone in the community before surrendering them to the shelter. And I
Yeah.
thought that was a really interesting thing to do because, you know, skip the middleman and help the dog get rehomed or the animal, whatever it is. I used to, I was
it's a
on
cool
Facebook.
program.
Yeah, when I was on Facebook, I would stalk that just to see if there was any dogs. Because like people ask me all the time if I know of a Chihuahua that needs a home or if I know of a Lab that needs a home. And most of the time that never ever lines up with somebody asking me, do you know a Lab that needs a home? Or do you know a Border Collie that needs a home?
Versus a client that's like, I can't do this anymore or whatever.
Right. And so like those things don't ever line up. So yeah, I would occasionally peruse that and see if I could help anybody out. But
Yeah.
then I got off
Do you know-
Facebook and now I don't.
Do you know what PASS stands for? Because I do. I'm just curious if you knew.
I forgot. I
It's,
did. I thought
It's
it was cute.
positive alternatives to shelter surrender.
Oh,
So
it's
instead-
beautiful.
I know. Instead of just like taking it to the shelter and just dumping the dog or whatever, it's a pretty good network. A lot of times APA would pretty much use that to get puppies. And like, because a lot of times like they physically cannot take a dog, period. Like they just don't have space for it. But like if they went through like certain channels, like PASS, for instance, they could usually at least hook it up with a foster a little bit more quickly and, you know, help kind of circumvent some of the like, you know, problems of needing to rehome a dog and not having space and stuff like that.
Any other benefits to Facebook? Land? Facebook land where you hang out?
So right now, I'm not like super fun. I actually considered deactivating my Facebook for a little while, only because of like I would keep Messenger and stuff, and like you know I'd probably come back, that kind of thing. But just right now, with like everything that's going on in the world, it's like I don't need to be spending time here. It's depressing sometimes, more often than not, and like I don't care. Like I honestly haven't really been on Facebook that much lately, and every time I do, I pretty quickly close it. But I will say, one of the positives I've found is that for my business page, at the very least, there's been a lot of really good interest in like me doing live training sessions with dogs. And somebody told me this like maybe a year ago or something, like that's the next place to go for dog trainers. Like, because nobody wants to see an edited final like version of, you know, you training a dog or whatever. They want to see you actually doing it. They want to see it warts and all and making mistakes and how to recover from them. And at first I was like, dude, there's no way anybody's going to give the slightest shit about this.
Right.
Like,
That's going to be so boring because sometimes training sessions are so boring.
yeah.
And nobody's going to want to watch me have a dog sit 8 times and then be done. That seems
Yeah.
lame.
Yep. So
Well,
I think
turns out.
yeah, it turns out a ton of people do care. And like, it's been really nice because like, if I want, my clients to see when I have their dog in my care, they can literally see the dog and I don't have to edit anything. It's just, here you go. Here's a session. And then I can refer back to it and be like, hey, on this date, go look at this video or whatever. But it's been pretty cool. I actually got a client, like, I don't know if I necessarily got them only because of Facebook, but it definitely helped my case in terms of like them being more likely to go with me as opposed to one of the other billion trainers in Austin.
Right.
So that was pretty cool too. And I think a lot of people, it's a good way for people who don't necessarily know if they are going to like a trainer, or maybe like they're kind of trying to narrow it down. Like if somebody has a Facebook page and they have a live, like you can go see exactly what they do and how they teach dog stuff. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot because I know it really helps to humanize the training experience, right? To see a trainer like go, oops, because they dropped a treat or they marked the wrong thing. Like I think it helps the client, whoever's watching, go, oh, I do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. That's totally normal. That's regular. Yeah. Because like when I'm editing a video that I'm going to show to a client as like, here's the dog that I'm training for you. I do honestly cut some of that stuff out because it's like, I look dumb, you know?
You look dumb. It's also like usually like 10 minutes long. And
right.
It's like, who's going to watch
a 10-minute thing unless I guess you're watching it live. So yeah, I edited it down to like 2-3 minutes of like, here's what we went over in the session. You can see your dog's improvement on it. Boom, there you go. But like there is a huge benefit to doing it live. And I'm trying to dabble in that a little bit more. Inspired by you.
Which I was inspired by Adrian. So it's like
it's just a
whole
chain of
effect.
inspiration. Yeah. And that's my big takeaway from at least Instagram is I've kind of curated what I see, because you can curate what you see, to things that inspire me, people who run a business that I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I don't know how they have all the time for everything they do, but I strive to figure that out in a balanced way. Or, they make stuff that inspires me that I'm like, that's the kind of stuff I want to see more of, that I want to put out. I try not to follow people that put out stuff I don't want to see. If I watch it and I'm like, oh, what terrible training or terrible editing, I also unfollow them.
Yeah.
So I don't have to see it.
Right. But it's cool because like, even if you don't do everything exactly the same, like you're never going to do everything exactly the same as somebody else. Maybe if you're starting out, sure, like have a template that you follow because like you don't know what you're doing anyways, and you don't know what you like and what you don't like. Like, do that and then grow and change and whatever. But, once you're kind of established, like you're always going to take little pieces and snippets and little things here and there from other people as you go and kind of morph into things. And then, you'll look back and go, why did I stop doing that? I should do that again. Or you'll see somebody else do something you used to do and you're like, oh man, that was really fun. I think I'm going to do that again. Or, that kind of thing. So I definitely think when you're looking for inspiration, that's definitely a good route to go. I know you use Instagram a lot more. What do you like about Instagram in terms of like the accounts that you follow, but also like the content that you produce?
I like pictures. I like pictures of dogs.
That's our title right there. I like pictures. ... I like pictures of dogs.
Yeah, that's what made me stay on Instagram is like, I like pictures of cute dogs. And so I look for pictures of cute dogs or dogs doing cool stuff, or responsible dog owners that share knowledge or dog trainers that share knowledge. 'Cause I like to promote them and be like, hey, check this person out. They make amazing posts. And because like the posts that some people are able to write and they put it with a, high quality picture or a really good graphic, blows my mind sometimes. And I'm like, okay, those thoughts were in my head, but I don't quite have the skill to like type it out on my phone and go, that's going to make an impactful post on the internet.
Right.
And I don't know, that may be my issue, my self-doubt, whatever, but I'm just not quite there yet. But some people really, really put out really good information that I'm like, I want my clients to see this. So I like to share those people's posts and be like, hey, read this stuff. Check it out. This person is giving out
Yeah.
good information for free. So don't come ask me this question. Here is your answer right here. Read it. Apply it to your life.
Yeah.
The information's out there.
We're actually gonna, for those of you, for our listeners, we're actually gonna interview somebody on our next Patreon episode that Courtney's been following for a while, and I've been following as well. She's a trainer out in Florida, and she's cool. So if you want to,
She has greatly inspired me on the social media because I've followed her since probably before I started my business, and I've talked to her a couple times and asked her like, really vulnerable questions about how she just puts her stuff out there on social media. And she's like, girl, just do it. So I'm really excited to interview her and get to know her on a more face-to-face level. I hope everyone listening can join us on our Patreon. I don't know if you've heard of her, Walking Dog Training. Check it out on Instagram. She's awesome.
Yeah, she is awesome. Yeah, she's super nice from everything that I've the few interactions I've had with her, just like in terms of like setting it up and all that kind of stuff. She seems pretty laid back, and I've obviously like watched her videos and stuff too, and I like a lot of her posts that you've shared. So
yeah.
pretty neat.
I mean, I find people like that I really admire, I learn from, they inspire me. And that's why I stay on Instagram. That's a really positive thing I find on there. As far as what I produce and I put out, like I said, I just like pictures. So I like to
Nothing wrong with that.
mostly put out pictures, and most of my pictures have like a random quote with them that I like because I really like quotes. It's just me. Some of my posts will be educational or be like a snippet into my life. But I don't do a lot of how-tos, and free information just because I've spent a lot of time doing that before, and that's not the season I'm in right now.
Yeah. I like that. That's not the season I'm in.
Yeah, it's just not.
Same.
And what I might be there again someday, and I might put out a lot of free education, but
I mean, some of what we're doing right now, I mean, a lot of our episodes, we do give out free information, and it's just kind of in a more concise, organized way. But I definitely know what you mean in terms of like how-to videos, because that's a very specific thing. And I'm right there with you, man. Like I am just like, I cannot care any less now.
Just not right
about
now.
that kind of stuff. Like I just can't. I've put together so much of that stuff for clients in the past that I'm just like, I can't right now.
And don't get me wrong, every once in a while I get the urge, and I do. And I put out, a video with a voiceover, and I give it to some clients, and I release it on our Patreon, and I'm just like, here you go. That's my education.
Yeah. But you could argue, I mean, like on Patreon, that's not technically free, right? It's not free information. It's for,
That's true.
It's an added value type sort of thing. And it's same thing for your clients. Like if you're sending it to your clients, I mean, they're already paying you.
Right.
So, I definitely feel like sometimes there is a lot of pressure though, to kind of go above and beyond and that sort of thing. Like I kind of found myself losing a little bit of steam with doing live videos. I was like, let's do them every day. But then I was like, that's kind of unrealistic. And I had a boundary. I was like, I'm not going to do them on weekends unless I absolutely just want to or feel like it or something. But like, I'm not doing them on weekends just because the weekends are for me, just like anybody else. Everybody else goes home and they turn their brains off on the weekends. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. I wanted that. That's what I wanted. And then I kind of realized like, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all. Like not even a little bit. Like maybe some people will be sad, but like more often than not, like if like somebody just stops posting, you don't notice, you don't think about it because there's so much other bullshit that like is filled in your feed or cool stuff, inspirational things. And so there's other things to kind of go off of and that kind of thing. And I think that's one of the cool things too about it is that like, if you do want something new, if you want something more, if you need, you need support or something like that, there's something out there probably on some social media platform for everybody. Mm-hmm. You've been getting a ton of hits on your TikTok, though. People love your dog videos.
Well, so what happened is I started a TikTok because I was like, this will be funny. And I didn't think anything was going to happen. And then I made one video that went, I believe it's called viral.
You sounded like such a boomer right there.
I know.
What's that word? Virus?
Virus?
Viral.
Viraling. I'm viraling on the internet.
So many good titles for this episode just spewing out of your mouth today.
I got jokes. This one video where I use this Lizzo song. I honestly haven't been on TikTok in a couple weeks, but it got like millions and millions, like more millions of views than anything I've ever made has gotten. And it's a really simple video, but it's hilarious.
Did you ever use Vine back in the day?
I did not. I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. And it was too short of a thing for me to get on board. It was over before I caught up.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard like TikTok's a lot like it.
I started catching on to Vine like right before it got bought out. And I was just like, man, this is awesome. But at least there was a bunch of like stuff that was uploaded to YouTube from it and whatever. And like, memes were made. So, now we got TikTok.
Yeah. I haven't been on there in a couple of weeks. I think shortly after I got off Facebook, I also was just like, I'm not even going to open my TikTok. I don't care. I got very like disassociated with, or not disassociated, just distanced from social media in general. My even my Instagram is it's just what I feel like posting. It's not every account of everything I do in a day. It's just the times when I do have my phone on me and I do remember or feel like taking video. And I mostly just post stuff in my stories. Yeah. And then, like I said, I post a picture with a quote usually.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's a pretty good, like, healthy way of doing it anyways.
It's what I enjoy. And I think that's a really big part of getting whatever it is that you need out of social media is do it to the point that you enjoy it.
Yeah, totally.
If that's 5 minutes a day, it's 5 minutes a day. If that's, 6 hours a day, okay. Accept that. And figure out what you're doing in those 6 hours that makes you happy about it. What do you enjoy? Do you like pictures of dogs?
I don't think anybody likes using social media for 6 hours. If they were shown how much time they actually spend on it, I know they hear about it all the time, but like,
it's disgusting.
But it's pretty crazy.
I made my phone start giving me like alerts of how long I've been on, and remind me and keep track of it and tell me. And I'm like, oh. And I actually hate that it does it, but I won't turn it off because I want to have that information so that I'm aware, so that I don't spend too much time on it, because I do think it's unhealthy. Like, I wanted to talk about the positives of it, but I just want to circle back around to the fact that ultimately I do think it's unhealthy. Yeah. And if there is a next social media platform, like there was MySpace, and then there was Facebook. And if there's like a next one that we're leveling up to, I got to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be on it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At all, ever. Like, I don't know if I will even start up an account ever.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, you have to kind of take into consideration, like, what makes sense for you. Like, I don't use Snapchat. I did for a little while, but like, honestly, I didn't care. I didn't care enough. And I think that was probably also more like a single person type of app anyways.
I had it for a little bit, and all I did was post videos of dogs, and I don't think that's what people wanted from me, because I was single, and I think their expectations were a bit different, and I was like, check out my dogs and the way they sleep, isn't it cute? Yeah.
I can't tell you how many pictures and videos I have of like Rocky making the most absurd faces when sleeping. It's so bad. It's always just like his little mouth open, his tongue out. Yeah. And it's just like, why do I have a billion pictures and videos of that? Why? Because it's adorable. Because I love it. And I don't have that many pictures of B-Town. He's sleeping right there. He looks like a little sausage. It's really cute, but like...
He's a black dog, though. Black dogs are so hard to take pictures of. They, in my opinion, are some of the cutest dogs in the world, but you can never capture it, which means that you just have to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yep. Totally.
Yeah.
What other social medias are there? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Nope. Guess not. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
I don't know. I'm not on it if there is another one.
Yeah. It's always like, LinkedIn and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, those like things, dumb. But
that's dumb.
But do people actually use that? Like,
yeah. It's growing a lot. My sister was trying to push me to do some dog training stuff on there and post articles and that kind of thing. And I was like, I got that. I'm not an article writer. Like I can be. I like doing it from time to time, but I'm no like Chad Mackin or anything like that. I'm not gonna sit there and like write a bunch of essays and that sort of thing. But yeah, apparently it's changed a lot, which is cool because I used to use it a lot for when I was an accountant. But
yeah, it seems like an accountant type, like a thing that accountants would use.
Yeah.
Not
like
dog trainers.
If you're looking for a job type of thing, it's good to have one of those. Or if you're kind of more like white collar, maybe there's probably a lot of blue collar people on there too. But yeah, no, that's pretty neat. I was thinking about something earlier in terms of Facebook groups. There was one that I really liked a lot. I like discussion groups on Facebook a lot. I like ones that promote discussion, and especially when it comes to like dog training stuff.
I know that like some dog trainers offer private groups for their clients, so that all of their clients can chat amongst themselves, and the trainer can come in and be like, hey guys, I'm gonna challenge y'all to do this month, and they can like compete against each other kind of and stuff like that. So I think that's a really adorable thing. If I felt like it, I would do that, but I don't feel like it, so I don't do that. That's the truth there.
Yeah. I feel like I give people at this point such wildly different advice because
that's another reason I don't do it. But
I don't have every client teaching their dog a strict heel because A, not every client wants that, and B, it's not right for their dog, or whatever. Not that like healing would ever be wrong for a dog, but like it's not. I do not have a one-size-fits-all approach. I don't have a specific method. I teach some clients clicker training. I teach some clients to say yes instead of a click. I teach other clients, I don't necessarily teach them that at all because they sort of already did that in the past and they have a good system of their own, and I just want to build on what they already have. It's not always about reinventing the wheel, and I think that's something that I'm trying to reconcile a little bit as well, because I've thought about it of like, well, why don't I do that? Why? Because if I know why, then I can either change my mind, or I know exactly specifically, like,
this is
what
my
the
reason.
Pros and cons are.
Right,
yes, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I think,
which props to you. What you're doing right there is questioning yourself, which is one of the hardest things to do, but one of the most healthiest things to do is to have a calm, questioning discussion with yourself about why you feel so strongly against certain things. You're just like, I don't want to do that. But like, why?
Yeah.
Not that you're dead set on changing your own mind. Just like be aware of, why do I have such a knee-jerk reaction to that? Like, and if you can easily come up with a list of pros and cons, you're like, okay, cool. Then I'm not doing that. Argument made.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah,
totally.
Congratulations to you for being a healthy minded person.
Trying, man. Trying so hard.
Aren't we all?
I hope so. I don't know that everybody's trying. I know a lot of people who are pretty content and just kind of being where they're at.
That's an excellent point. I guess you and I are both trying, and so are some other people we know. Plenty of people are not trying, but kudos to the ones that are.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are. Whether they realize it or not, they're changing no matter what. That you can't not change as time goes on, and you can't expect your dog to stay the same forever either. And so, that's the moral of this story that has nothing to do with the actual story of social media.
Once upon a time, we started a super serious podcast where we promised we would always stay on topic and make perfect sense.
Hey, we never promised that ever. We never made that promise. We promised dog fart stories. Okay. That was like our opening line right there.
So when Phoebe, you guys know my dog Phoebe, right? I've talked about her before, once or twice. When she jumps over a foot high, she farts. Almost every time.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I had no idea. Oh my God, that's so funny. So all those times that she's been like tearing it up when we go hiking and stuff, and she's just like
probably
launches.
Just ripping ass that whole time. That's my girl.
That's amazing. Oh my God. I think that's the perfect note to end on right there. So we're going to end on that dog fart story. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode. As a reminder, please send us your questions to superseriousdogpodcast@gmail.com. You can also send us messages on Patreon or, support us financially, monetarily there.
Give us your money.
Go to patreon.com/Super Serious Dog Podcast. And I don't think that's it. I think that's it.
Goodbye.